Juwayni. Imam al-Haramain.
إمام الحرمين. I think we started with his muqaddimah, right?
No, we went straight to the tarjama.
Oh, his tarjama. Subhanallah. So this is Ibn Uthaymin, right?
No. So maybe closing the gap. Oh. Zuhdi, right? Or
Yeah. So yeah, because this Al-Burhan fi Usul al-Fiqh is the easiest. It's not in Abiyat, but it's a very good book. Al-Khis fi Usul al-Fiqh. That all he wrote all of them. But he made a sharh on this one, very good sharh. So we started here, right?
mm-hmm.
We started them. So Imam al-Juwayni, they call him Imam al-Haramain, and we know why they call him Imam al-Haramain. He spent how many years in Mecca?
40.
40 years in Mecca, and how many years in Medina?
4.
4 years. And when he was a mufti, he was giving iftar. Nah. So we talked about his name, and about where he was born, right, and all those things, right? Now we're going to talk about his nasha. Did we start with nasha?
We did that.
We did that. We here.
خامسا.
شيوخه. So it's very important to know where he's from, his name, his wherever, his nasha, and nasha wa talabat al-ilm, and the way he seek knowledge. And now you need to know exactly his scholars, his teachers. And it's part of ilm al-rijal, which I talked about Shaykh yesterday. So this all is going to help you when you go to hadith to know the ilm al-rijal. Because today you cannot, this is usul. So you must come across with Imam al-Juwayni, rahimahullah. So at least you know him. You come across with sometime, rahimahullah. You know him, right? So that's how it's going to be. So والده فقد أخذ عنه الفقه والأصول والتفسير وغيرها. والده, what does والده means?
His father.
His father. So ab, walid, that is in Arabic father. But when they are using this term in fiqh or in knowledge, they use waliduhu. Sometimes they will use abuhu, but most of the fuqaha they use waliduhu. But in the Quran you will hear when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is narrating the story, a story between a son and a father, Allah will use waliduhu. Allah will use abuhu. وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. Right? إِذَا قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ وَقَوْمِهِ. So Allah will use abuhu. قَالَ يَا أَبَتِ. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he is giving a ruling, he will use walid. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ أَلَا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا بِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. So when he's using the rulings, he will always use the walid, or most of the time he will use walid. But if it is a narration, he will use the ab. Use ab. يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر. إذا قال لأبيه. نعم. So those kind of things, right? And you go to the Sunnah also, you will see both. You will see both in terms of Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So walid, at least we know what walid means. It can be walid or walida. Walid is the father, walida is the mother. Ab is the father, is the mother. So that one you just use the tal marbuta, right? Walid and walida. So, but if you wanna make jam' on walid, what are you gonna do?
Jam'?
Nah.
On walid.
Huh? Al-walid.
It'd be walid, right?
Yeah, waliduna.
Waliduna.
But you don't hear that. So abba. What can you say? Abuna. Yeah.
أو آباؤنا الأول.
أو آباؤنا الأولون. آباء. So والدون also is correct, but it's hard to see it used. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the plural of mothers, والوالدات. In Surah Al-Baqarah, والوالدات يرضعن أولادهن. The mothers, they breastfeed their children. So what you know, Quran, والوالدون.
What about والدين?
والدين too. So والدان too, والدين too. Yes. Now, so abuhu. I just want to make sure you get used to the abuhu. So I was repeated. I bring all the. So waliduhu. One is waliduhu. So he's talking about his shuyukh, his teachers.
His dad's teacher. Oh wait, this is that. This is his first
His
teacher.
teachers. Number one of his teachers is waliduhu. And you have Abu al-Qasim, and you have till 5, right? So he said waliduhu was his first teacher. فقد أخذ عنه الفقه. فقد أخذ is took. فقد أخذ, he took الفقه, fiqh from him. فقد أخذ عنه الفقه. So he took fiqh from his dad. والأصول, and usul is fundamental fiqh, right? والتفسير and tafsir, وغيرها, and other things. And غيرها is and other things that he didn't mention. من العلوم, from other knowledge. From other knowledge. That's his father. So اثنين Abu al-Qasim. Where's his father? His father is here.
Somewhere right here, maybe.
Did he mention his father here? Yes, his father is Shaykh al-Shafi'iyya. You see? قد كان والده أبو محمد فقيها. You see? So you see, he's here, right? So Abdul Malik ibn Shaykh Abu Muhammad Abdullah Yusuf ibn Muhammad al-Juwayni. So Abu al-Ma'ali, that's him, right? Abdul Malik ibn Shaykh Abu Muhammad. So his father is Abu Muhammad. His father is Ibn Shaykh. My wife's grandfather is Ibn Shaykh. Ibn Shaykh. Lubna's grandfather is Ibn Shaykh. I said, it's always. So Ibn Shaykh, so his father was his first teacher. So he took fiqh, usul, tafsir, and some other knowledge. So second, Abu al-Qasim. Abu al-Qasim Abdul Jabbar ibn Ali al-Ma'ruf bil-Iskaf al-Isfarayini. So you will hear al-Isfarayini, whenever you hear al-Isfarayini in usul, that is Abu al-Qasim. So Isfarayini is a city in Damascus. Yeah, in Sham. نعم. So this الفرايزني he توفي سنة 458. فكان فقيها متكلما. So he was a faqih, a jurist, متكلما. What is متكلم?
Complete.
Philosopher.
Oh, philosopher. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
أهل الكلام متكلم, أهل الكلام متكلم. So he was a faqih. So then we talked about Ibn Taymiyyah yesterday. The تعلم علم الكلام. So one of his teachers also, of course, if he learned from somebody who's a faqih متكلم, he will have علم الكلام.
Yeah.
Right. So وقد واظب أبو المعالي على حضور دروسه. واظب means he constantly, لازم. واظب معنى he was, I want to talk to you, he was never absent in his lectures. لقد واظب means, you want to check واظب, if I have the right one. واظب means he was regular. Yes, he was regular. He maintained على حضور دروسه, in attending Abu al-Qasim's class. So he will not miss his class. So واظب means maintain.
Do something regularly, yeah.
Huh?
Do something regularly, apply oneself to persistently.
Regular.
Yeah. So he was regularly, he regularly maintained his attendance in his durus. Durusihi, durus, dars, is a lesson, it's a class. Durus is
Plural.
multiple. So Abul Ma'ali always maintain attending Abul Qasim's durus. قرأ عليه الأصول وتخرج بطريقته. He learned usul from him. So then, here he learned the basics from his father, right? But here you said he's تخرج. How can you remember تخرج? تخريج. Oh, I didn't. We talk about تحقيق, right? But I didn't tell you تخريج. تحقيق is authenticate. تخريج is to filter the hadith. Bring all the chains. That's تخريج. So the تحقيق and تخريج is different. تحقيق is to authenticate, but تخريج is a specific knowledge in ilm al-hadith. Is to bring out everything about the hadith. To bring it out.
The bring,
التخريج.
bring the truth out of it, or bring
Yeah,
what out
bring the chain. Like تحقيق, you can just say this hadith is authentic. Based on two lines. It's authentic because it's in this book, But takhrij is to bring all the chain.
Okay.
Like this hadith is narrated by this person, 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 by this person to the Prophet. And it has multiple roads to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's takhrij. There's a difference between tahqiq and takhrij. It's authenticate. You can just say this hadith is authentic. Mahad, this hadith, are you going? They're there. They're in the meeting. So tahqiq, you can just say this hadith is authentic based on this and this. But takhrij is to bring all the, and you will leave it there. And then you will see a person in the between who's weak. So you will know exactly this hadith is not authentic. So it's more practical. Right? But takhrij. But here, like we can say, Hussein takharraja min UW. Graduate. He came out.
Yeah.
So who made you came out? UW. But you just come and say, hey, you don't. No. You went through a process. So actually that process of like bringing you out, that's takhrij. That's process of graduating. So you graduate based on a process that they put, based on a system that they put, right? So you go through that system and you graduate it. You then finish their requirement, you cannot graduate. Right?
Okay. So basically it's analyzing is it the process that the hadith took, the
Yes.
path that it took?
Yes, the path that it took.
The path of
Yeah, but here it says, وَتَخَرَّجَ. He graduated بِطَرِيقَتِهِ, based on Abu al-Qasim's system of graduating his students.
Okay.
So either they have their own system, right? To graduate a student, right?
Yeah.
So Abu al-Qasim also, وَتَخَرَّجَ, he graduated بِطَرِيقَتِهِ. Tariqa is way. It can be a system. It can be whatever, process that you do to make sure that you certify this person. So he graduated based on Abu Qasim's standards. Not everybody will graduate. And if you graduate, you have ijaza that you graduated. So if you don't meet his standards, you cannot get that ijaza, right? So it's Abu Qasim. So he didn't talk about much about his father, but he get at least approval and was certified by Abu Qasim, and Abu Qasim is a mutashaddid. I don't want to say mutashaddid, but he is tough. Yes. So the third one is Abu Abdullah Al-Khabbazi, Muhammad ibn Ali al-Naysaburi. Muhammad ibn Ali, he is very known at Naysaburi. We talked about Naysabur, right? Who do you know about Naysabur? Bukhari, he's from Naysabur, right?
Abu Abdullah, right?
Imam Bukhari also, yeah, he's one of them. So Abu Abdullah, this name Al-Khabbazi, but his name is Ibn Muhammad ibn Ali al-Naysaburi. So, they don't call Ali, but Ibn Muhammad ibn Ali al-Naysaburi. He's but you're going to mix a lot of Naysaburis. A lot of Naysaburis. So you either link them with the first name, Khabbazi. Khabbaz is bread maker. What do you call it?
Baker?
A baker. That's Khabbazi. So sometimes you link the name with something. So khubz is bread. Khabbaz is a bread maker. Khabbazi is linked with
The bread maker.
bread maker. Yes. So Abu Abdullah Al-Khabbazi محمد بن عبد الله ابن محمد ابن علي النيسابوري متوفى سنة 449. كان شيخ
he passed away?
متوفى, yes.
Okay.
Yes, متوفى. Who he died سنة the year 449. 449. كان شيخ القراء في وقته. So he was the sheikh of the Qurra in his time. And when we say Qurra, who do we referring to?
Reciters.
Reciters of the Quran. So Al-Khabbazi was Sheikh al-Qurra. In his time, he was the sheikh of the reciters of Quran, right? قرأ عليه أبو المعالي القرآن. So Abu Ma'ali recited the Quran from him. So that's a very high standard. So if somebody is in that level and you recite the Quran from them, actually to have the access to recite from them, it's not easy. So because he was the Shaykh al-Qurra at that time, and he recited the Quran with him, right? So you will have the Hafidh. So what we say Al-Hafidh, we have few Hafidh that we know. Who's the most famous Hafidh that you hear all the time? Hajar al-Asqalani. Al-Hafidh Hajar al-Asqalani. Now, so this also, his first Shaykh is Al-Hafidh Abu Na'im al-Asbahani. Abu Na'im al-Asbahani is very famous.
Yep.
It's very, very famous. So Hafidh Abu Na'im al-Asbahani. So Ahmad ibn Abdullah kana muhaddithan. So in ilm al-hadith, you cannot miss this guy, al-Asbahani. So you will, in ilm al-hadith, you will hear all the time, you will hear Al-Hafidh al-Asbahani or Abu Na'im al-Asbahani. Naam. So his name is Ahmad ibn Abdullah kana muhaddithan. He was a scholar of hadith. Faqihan, also a jurist. So kana muhaddithan wa kana kadhalika faqihan. So you'll see the age difference is not very. They call it zamala. They lived in the same generation. You can look at the age 452, 449, and 430. Right? So this guy, Abu Na'im al-Asbahani, he is very, very, very famous in al-Hadith. So when you do takhrij, or when you go to this asanid is the ilm al-hadith. It is the books that contain the ilm al-hadith. You'll always see him. He made a lot of, rasail, and also authenticated a lot of rijal, Abu Na'im al-Asbahani. Naam. So kana faqihan also, and also you'll find him in the ilm al-fiqh. وَدَرَسَ عَلَيْهِ إِمَامِ الْحَرَمَيْنِ وَأَجَازَهُ. So he learned from him. وَدَرَسَ, he learned عليه from him, or عليه on him. He read on him. Imam al-Haramayn did learn from him. وَأَجَازَهُ, he gave him ijazah. Those days, to have the ijazah is not easy from a sheikh. Now, so he graduated from this guy. He also get the ijazah from this guy. So because of at that time, you cannot teach an Muslim if you have an ijazah. In any knowledge, you need to have the ijazah. That ijazah is certification, but the certification is a link. What I learned from my sheikh, and my sheikh learned from him, and that ijazah, I have the ijazah, you have that ijazah, it has to contain all the names of the sheikh till the Sahaba. That's the ijazah. So ajazahu. So Abu Na'im al-Asbahani, he gave him ijazah. So the fifth sheikh is Hussein ibn Muhammad al-Marzawi or al-Maruzi. Qadi al-Hasan. Okay, Qadi al-Hussein. This guy. So his name, I'm lost with this name. Yeah. But I know him with al-Qadi al-Hussein. Qadi Hussein, he's a scholar of Shafi'i, I think. Qadi Hussein متوفى سنة. Okay. وشيخ الشافعي. الخراسان. Yes. القاضي حسين. Qadi Hussein is very, very, very known in Khurasan, and he's one of the big scholars who collected and write the Madhab Shafi'i. Naam. So Qadi Hussein. وتفقه عليه.
Mashhur, he's famous by that name, right?
So he's very famous with this name, with Qadi Hussein. Yes. So Al-Mashhur, you see, I made this name is not very in my mind. So they call Al-Qadi Hussein, and he died 462, right? 462. وهو الشيخ الشافعية بخراسان. So he was the scholar of the فقهاء الشافعية in Khurasan. You know where Khurasan is?
Is it like Uzbekistan area or?
Yeah, it's part of Afghan and Uzbeks. But most, they call them, these guys, these new eyes who call themselves Khurasanis.
No ISIS?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they call them Khurasan.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Khurasan, is Abdullah ibn al-Mubarak from there?
Yeah, from Khurasan, yep. Abdullah ibn Mubarak from Khurasan. So that's وتفقه عليه إمام الحرمين. So then Imam al-Haramain, he like in this age he learned madhab Shafi'i and this, but back in the days it wasn't learning one madhab. It was learning every madhab, but then every sheikh is known of their madhab at the same time have the knowledge of other madhabs. So
What is that one?
وتفقه.
That's when he died.
No, تفقه is fiqh, from fiqh. So darasa from dars. تفقه from fiqh. So he learned fiqh from him.
Oh, okay.
So the hadith said رب حامل فقه إلى من هو أفقه منه. The Prophet ﷺ said, a person may carry on the fiqh, but to a person who has more understanding of the fiqh that he carried.
Say that again. Can't lost me.
رب حامل فقه إلى من أفقه منه. You can carry the hadith, you can carry the fiqh, but then you say to somebody who has more understanding of what you said.
Okay.
Yes. Because you didn't have the comprehensive understanding of it. So when you say it, they may have more understanding of what you said.
Yeah, you have theory and they have practical.
Yep. So that's what the Prophet said. So tafaqaha, when somebody learns fiqh from somebody, we didn't say ta'allama. That's why he said qara'a. Why he said qara'a? Qara'a alayhi. He recited. So qara'a always is for the Quran. تفقه always is fiqh.
Okay.
نعم. عن حديث they use تعلم من الحديث.
حدثني.
نعم. وحدثني أخذ عنه الحديث. But تفقه is he learned fiqh from him. He took fiqh from him. تفقه عليه إمام الحرمين. نعم. So it's up there. So تلاميذه, his students. And we'll find we can go through very quick. تلاميذه تتلمذ على إمام الحرمين عدد من تلاميذ أشهرهم. He has a lot of students. The most famous ones, and you're going to be surprised on some of them. A lot of philosophers. A lot of. So the first one is Abu Hamid. Who's Abu Hamid?
Yeah, I have to maybe hear.
You have to know him. I'm Abu Hamid. Ghazali.
No.
Abu Hamid or Abu Ghazali. So you see where Ghazali is coming from. So Abu Hamid ibn Muhammad ibn Muhammad. So you always have Muhammad, Abu Ghazali. So Abu Hamid, Muhammad ibn Muhammad al-Ghazali. So Ghazali, Ghazali, he's a big philosopher. You know that, right?
Yep.
His famous book is Ihya.
Yep.
Ihya Ulumuddin.
Ulumuddin.
But be a little worn from it. Yes. But the good thing about Ghazali is he said he spent 40 years in falsafa. He said he came out zero. He said all confusing. And he abandoned it the rest of his life. So he's a great scholar, but he has a lot of things that confuse people. Ihya Ulumuddin, Ghazali, he has Sufism in his books. Yes. So they call him Hujjatul Islam al-Muslimin. Ghazali. That's what they call
Proof,
him.
is that what it is?
The proof of Islam and the Muslims. Yes. كان فقيها أصوليا متكلما متصوفا. So at least he brought it. At least I'm not fabricating. I'm not bringing. I'm not adding. He said Ghazali كان فقيها. He was a faqih, jurist. Usuliyan, also fundamentalist in fiqh, right? Mutakalliman, philosophy. Mutasawwifan as a Sufi also. نعم. العلم المعروف.
This is Al-Juwayni's student.
Yeah, one of his students.
Yeah.
Yes, one of his students, Abu Hamid al-Ghazali. So العلم المعروف المتوفى, they call him Imam Ghazali العلم المعروف, the known knowledge.
Him.
Yeah. حجة الإسلام, علم
The
المعروف.
known,
His books are very famous in the West.
Of course.
Just search إحياء علوم الدين. Ghazali is very translated. It's very, even these Sufis, the American Sufis, they have that book.
And Ibn Sina too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of Ibn Sina.
Yeah. But this guy, he talks about a lot of things that they like. Yes, Ghazali. So be just know that name, and but we're counting his students. So you can be somebody's student and then change your course, right? Now, yeah. So you will have great scholars. So I'll mention a tafsir. Tafsir al-Tabari. You know Tafsir al-Tabari, right? Yeah. So Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Ali al-Tabari is a student.
That was his student too?
Yes.
Imam Tabari.
Imam الطبري المعروف بكسر الهراسي كان فقيها أصوليا مفسرا محدثا متوفنا. So الطبري is his student. So he started with Al-Ghazali, which became a Sufi later on. But Tabari, he has one of the best tafsirs.
Yep.
Tabari, big tafsir. So Tabari is one of his students.
He became a Sufi too?
No.
You said? Oh,
No.
I thought you said he became a Sufi later.
No, this is Ghazali.
Oh, okay.
But Ghazali came out of this. But then people hide that. But Al-Muhim, he was mutasawwif. He was a big mutasawwif. If you just added his book, it's Ihya Ulum al-Din. Ihya Ulum al-Din. Reviving the knowledge of the Deen. It's a very dangerous. It's translated to English. It's a very, 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 very. He brought a lot of things that it's very scary. So Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Ali al-Tabari al-Ma'ruf bil-Ilkiya al-Harrasi كان فقيها. So this is Tabari now we just know Tabari. So Tabari, if you say Tabari, we know that he has a tafsir that he called Tabari. نعم. He was كان فقيها. He was a faqih, jurist, usulian, fundamentalist in. Now when you say just fundamentalist, it's not a name, right?
Oh, that's bad, yeah.
Fundamental in fiqh. مفسرا, he was a mufassir. محدثا, also hadith. So when you go to his lughawiyan, they should add that, linguist. And when you go to his tafsir, it's a very, I didn't see his tafsir here. It's very expensive to buy though. Yes, his tafsir, al-Tabari. Naam. So we know all this. We know Ghazali and we know al-Tabari, right? Third student, Abdul Rahim ibn Abdul Karim Abu Nasr. Abu Nasr, is al-Ma'ruf bibna al-Qushayri. كان فقيها مفسرا متكلما. He's also supposed to be متكلم.
He's a mutakallim?
Yeah, he's a mutakallim. But ilm al-kalam and Sufi is very connected.
They are, yeah.
Till the person declare that they are Sufi, you still keep them there. If you use their ilm al-kalam is actually Sufi took their method from ilm al-kalam.
Yeah.
Yeah, from like all Sufi is just like based on philosophy. Yes, it's based on that. So Abu Nasr, he's known Abu Nasr, and also he's known as Ibn al-Qushayri. كان فقيها, he was a faqih. مفسرا, also مفسرا. He has tafsir. متكلما also. He was a philosopher also. He died سنة 504.
I think if Abu Nasr, if we look at his students,
You
some
will
of
see.
them might be some we know.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I've heard
Yes.
his name before.
yes. وابن القشيري. نعم. So also as a student, but they all have kalam on them. They all have kalam.
High time for kalam, right?
Yeah, this was a very high time for kalam.
Yeah.
This is, you cannot have. So you have also the third one, Abdul Rahim. That's the third one. So you have Abdul Ghafir. The fourth one, Abdul Ghafir ibn Ismail Al-Faris al-Naysaburi. Al-Faris is very famous. Al-Faris al-Naysaburi, he is very, very famous in history. He was very famous. كان من أعيان المحدثين المؤرخين. So he was one of the figures of the hadith. والمؤرخين is تاريخ.
Okay, historian.
And historian.
Mm.
نعم. So Al-Faris al-Naysaburi, whenever you hear him, is linked with history, but also he's a hadith also. كان من أعيان المحدثين والمؤرخين. أعيان is a figure, like أعيان, yes, figure of the people of hadith, ilm al-hadith. Ain is the eye, right? So, but Ain represent a lot. Also represent a human being, right? So A'yan is Jamu Ain or Uyun or Ayun. They all can be plural. Yes. Ain, Ayun, Uyun. Yeah. Yeah. So he was one of what they use as a figure.
Okay. So like when they say Rasul something, right?
Yeah.
Like the head of something, meaning
yes.
He's their leader.
Yes. So he was one of the famous like محدثين المؤرخين. So مؤرخ is تاريخ. أرخ بمعنى he talked about his history. تاريخ is history. تاريخ is like history. So okay, now we have faqih. We have faqih, right? We have qari, qurra. We have mu'arrikhin, the historians. So these are mu'arrikhin. These are wal mu'arrikh.
So wouldn't Tabari be a mu'arrikh as well?
Of course. Tabari, he's a mu'arrikh, but he didn't write about tarikh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In his tafsir, you can see a lot of history, but he didn't specify like a book of, like what Ibn Kathir did.
Okay.
Yes. Nah. So Ibn Kathir, he did tafsir, at the same time he specified to write about, tarikh. Bidayah wa Nihaya. Yes. So, mu'arrikhin, wa kana faqihan. He was a jurist also. Adiban.
Is it doctor?
No. Ilm al-adab is...
Oh.
Is it etiquettes or manners?
No. Is literacy.
Wait, what?
I think it's literature. Literature.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yes. Adiban. So literature, like talked about like...
The literist. Is that what it's called? Or?
No, literature. Like, he was a litratist.
Literist? Or is that a word?
Yes. Literate. Like he is, like he talked about poets and all those things, and the grammar and the language, and that's adab.
That'll be Lughawi, right? Or
no.
For language.
Yeah, it's more than like adab is more than language. Yes.
Okay.
هذا أديب وهذا, like when you say لغوي, it's like نحو and صرف. Adab, balagha. You have nathar. You have adab, ilm adab itself. So adab will bring all the sha'r al-jahili, and you can make your own qafiyah to write the sha'r yourself. Adib. And it's different than sha'ir. Sha'ir is just like
he just writes the poetry. Or
write poetry himself. And express, yeah. But adib is to put all that together.
Okay.
Yes. Maybe it's adiban. But if you linguistically, if you got adiban is mu'addib is a raiser or educator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would it be an intellectual or something?
Intellectual. But it's more to, I think, like they call it in English, literacy. Yeah.
Adib one will be the regular, or
but if you go
the marfu'?
Adibun.
Okay. Adibun. Look it up. A person who writes books, elegant and refined in manner. Let me see. Person who tells stories skillfully and wittily. Person who composes literature.
Yeah, literature. Yeah, yeah.
So put it as author or writer.
Oh, literary expert.
Yeah, that's
Literary
good. That's
expert.
good. Yeah.
That's the one. Adiban. What
Okay.
here again?
Literary expert.
Literally.
Literary. Yeah, expert.
Expert. Yes.
Okay.
Adib. Literary
Mhm.
expert. That's adib. That's adib.
Literary.
Yes. Yes. So he died. He died in 529, right?
Al-Farisi and An-Naysaburi. Why is both of them put?
He has two dual citizens.
Oh.
Yeah, Al-Farisi and Naysaburi.
Wait,
So
what is-
he's a Farisi origin, but he lived in Naysabur. So he has connection, lineage connection in Faris and Naysabur. So you can call me Senegambi.
So
Senegambia
how
is-
does he was born in Persia, and then in Naysabur, like he has family
Or
or
he could be ethnic.
Yeah, you can call me
Persian,
African American.
living in Asia, yeah.
It's African
Yeah, or
American.
Somali American.
could you say a thing for Ibn Taymiyyah as well, or
No,
Harrani and then
Ibn Taymiyyah,
Dimashqi, or
no, Ibn Taymiyyah, he moved.
Okay.
He has no lineage, has no
Mhm.
blood in Damascus.
So he was born in Naysabur, but he's
This guy,
Persian.
this guy, just like saying African American.
But
Where's
He
your,
has both.
where's your lineage from?
He has both.
Yes.
Okay.
So he's originally from Africa, has a lineage there, and he's also originally here, has a lineage here.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Nishapur is not, because Persians would be Iranians now, right?
Yeah.
So Nishapur is not that far away from it. I think it's
Yeah, but
very
they were,
close.
they were two different,
Empires.
yeah,
Okay.
two
Okay.
different, like, yeah, Naysaburi. So this guy, he was a Pharisee, and he's a Naysab at the same time.
Mm.
Like, I was born in the Gambia, but you see, Sheikh Albani, he's still Albani. Al-Harrani, Ibn Taymiyyah, because they originate from this place.
Mhm.
So what took them that place is they traveled
Mhm.
to that place. So they don't have origin in that place.
Okay.
Yeah. So my mom is from Senegal. My mom is from Gambia. My dad is from Gambia. So I have
Both of them.
both, like,
Okay.
relation. So Faris and Naysaburi. Now, so then the fifth one will be, so Adiban, we know Adiban, right? I have to go right now when we finish this. So Khamis and Ahmad ibn Muhammad ibn Muzaffar al-Naysaburi. Ahmad ibn Muzaffar al-Naysaburi al-Khawafi. Naam. So this guy, he was one of his right hands. Ahmad ibn Muhammad. كان من عظماء أصحاب إمام الحرمين. Yes. He was one of the great companions of Imam al-Haramain.
Mhm.
So a student at the same time a companion. وكان مشهورا بحسن المناظرة, and he was known as a good debater.
Mm.
Mm.
Yes. Maybe he was Ahmad Didar of his time, maybe. Yes. Because in this time, those debates was very, very common, because they have philosopher, and they used to come and challenge them. So it was something that they have to learn. They have to debate, and it used to be crowd. Used to
Yeah.
debate, to
Mhm.
defend the deed, and the philosopher will come. It was like, so he was known. So Ibn Muzaffar, he was known in debate. So in very good debating. So Ibn Muzaffar, he was like his like friend,
Mhm.
but at the same time student. So
Like-
he used to be with him all the time.
Like Abu Yusuf was to Imam
Imam Abu Hanifa, yes. So yeah, so these are he has a lot of students, but these are the most famous students that are known, have books and all those things. Now, so we talk about Thana al-Ulama alayhi, what the ulama said about him. It's very important. And
Is it
then we
Thana?
talk-
Okay.
Thana,
Yeah,
praise,
for him.
yes, what the ulama, how the ulama praise him. And we talk about his mu'allafat, what he wrote. All this. Just this is a lifetime.
Mhm.
So yeah, subhanallah.
How old was he when we covered this, right?
Yeah, he was born in مولده. So he was born in سنة 19 و400. So he was 419. They didn't put he died one.
Might be the first page before this. This note, I was wrong.
Yeah, I don't have a death.
Maybe it's at the last page of his tarjama.
Sometimes it can get lost. If they don't know it, they just put the Mawlid.
Mm.
So you can estimate it. The time of his sheikhs died.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have his death here.
So it looks like he was young. He didn't live that long.
Oh, most of them live long. What did they have there?
So he was born in, I'm looking at U.S. Christian time. It's 1028, and then he died 1085.
1028, 1085.
Yeah.
20, 30,
No, 60, 50.
40, 50,
50
50 something.
28 minus 57.
57.
That's still young.
The average is 60.
Oh, back in those days.
How about now?
No, it was like 43.
Yeah, no, it was really young.
Very
He
young.
was something else.
Yeah. Actually, Nawawi, some of them said even he was younger than 43.
Mm.
Yeah. So 43 of what he did. And you will not see some, or most of the Musannifin who live like 80, 90 now.
Yeah.
Very young age, they just come and do what they do and they're gone. Yeah. Yep. So sometimes you think that it's impossible, but my friend Daud, who died, you know, he did a lot in a young age.
What's his name?
Daud Jallo. We started together. We're trying to get his book like out,
They get published.
published. He wrote in Usul Quran. He's a master's. So he did a lot too. So alhamdulillah. Yep. So Imam al-Juwayni, he is a lot of students.
Mm-hmm.
Except he left us with Ghazali.
Oh my God.
But try to learn about Ghazali, to understand. Like now, you know him, you know his students. Of course, Ghazali one of the number one. But then know something about Ghazali.
Mm-hmm.
Tabari, just need to go to his tafsir. But learn about Ghazali. And his most famous book in the West is called Ihya Ulum al-Din.
There might even be one here.
Oh, no, if I see it, I'm going to take it out. Yes, I'm going to take it out.
You know, for the people of Kalam, the best answer that I've heard was from Imam Malik, rahimahullah. He said, so these people, they want, whenever one comes that knows how to debate, if another one comes and he's a better debater than the first one, they want us to leave everything Allah and His Messenger told us and follow that guy.
The debater.
It never ends.
It never ends.
Every time a new guy is going to come who's a better debater than the other guy. Now you have to change beliefs every single time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, no, we're just going to stick with what we have.
Stick to the, yep.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes they want to see these moderate scholars, you know, they want to use science to interpret the Quran.
Yeah.
And science is subject to change or develop.
Mhm.
So if you base a tafsir on a science, whatever, time will come you will need to change it.
Yeah.
And it's dangerous. So you just stick with what the Salaf did.
Yes.
And left us with.
And it's very, the religions, subhanAllah, the more people learn, the more they're finding out what we're understanding about the religion.
Yep.
So just today I saw a video where they did actual research where they hooked someone up with sensors, like multiple people, and they found out that they showed people stuff, and they found out that the heart is actually what senses what they're looking at, and then those signals get sent out to the brain and everywhere else.
And they keep going.
Yeah, so everything starts with the heart, and the whole time when you look at the Quran, it's always talking about the heart.
Yep.
So subhanAllah.
Yep. So it never ends. It never ends. So, like, whenever a generation comes, they will know something,
Mhm.
but then the other generation will start from there and move forward. So if we want to change the Quran, the world is going to be changing, but Kalamullah will never change.
Yeah.
So we leave it as it is, and it doesn't interrupt our development. It doesn't interrupt it, or it doesn't delay it.
No.
It just rectify our actions, our attitudes, and the way we deal with. But the way we seek knowledge is okay. Let's seek knowledge. The way we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That if that change, then we will remain with nothing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's because people want innovation. That's what they
But
want.
this one, yep.
They want innovation.
So innovation. So